Okay, so 95 depth is finally getting the nerf that it should have gotten probably in November, to be honest. It's been like this for 1 year now, 1 or 2 years. Should have probably come out in November, but I've never seen a patch like this midway through Team of the Season, or it's coming anyway very soon, midway through Team of the Season. Um, Now, let's go over the first, we'll go over the key ones. People are saying that it's kind of been nerfed, but some people are saying no, it's been buffed. So we'll walk through why there's been some confusion as well. The first one is what they said is they significantly decreased the amount of defensive pressure AI teammates can apply when using an aggressive defensive approach with 91 depth and above. Now, I think the amount of people that use 91 depth, so don't forget it's high up until 90. The 91 is when you go into the aggressive territory, as explained there. So everything 91 and above. And aggressive territory, for those that never used it before, think of it like constant pressure. And there is absolutely no doubt that when you use aggressive approach like this, the team auto presses for you. In fact, if you're been following my series, you talked about the 44, and I explained, for example, the aggressive depth. Now, I don't think this will affect as many people as much. Now, hear me out. I'll give you the reason why. The aggressive approach, apart from a few professional players that use this and abuse this, and a few top tier players, and maybe some players sporadically in the lower division, like division 3 to 5. Maybe I should be careful with the word of lower, but you know what I'm trying to say relative to elite division. I think it's a bit more common. I think for everyone else, they don't really use as much. Think about it. How many times do you use 90? Maybe use it when you're losing, but you don't use it to start the game. I think most of the time people are varying between, I would say, anywhere from 31, which is probably the lowest you can go on balance, and all the way up to 85. I would say high is what most people use. You'd probably see 70 as a good baseline. In fact, a lot of my tactics are on high, but you can see on the pitch notes, there's no patch for anything related to high depth, unless there's some like indirect nerf that we're not too sure about, that they haven't mentioned, because sometimes there might be some indirect effect. You never know. But most people start the game with high depth. So high depth, in my opinion, I still feel that it's a bit too aggressive. You're asking me personally speaking. I think the AI is a bit too aggressive. I think that's why everyone is using 70 depth, because it's actually easier to defend with a higher line and high depth, because AI does a lot for you. Now, when I say it's easier to defend, as long as you're not making basic mistakes. If you're going ahead and running out with your center back, making a ridiculous decision running out with your center back, you're going to concede regardless. But let's say your defensive line is in check and you're good at defending as it is, and you're basically following the main principles that we go over. 70 depth, I think, from January, I tried to convince everyone to kind of slowly shift towards starting with. So that's not going to be effective. So I can see, for example, ultra attacking tactics. I think that's what's going to be adjusted. To be honest, I'm happy for it. I think, okay, maybe they could have buffed teammate contain with manual pressing, or allowed us to press a bit better manually. I agree with that. But I think the amount of people that get away with using aggressive depth when they are losing, let's say they go 1 or 2-0 down. Let's say I'm bursting, I don't know, a rank 4 or rank 5 player, skill level not necessarily better than me, but they put aggressive depth in, and I feel like I'm very choked inside my own box. I can't get the ball out. I can't distribute the ball out. So that would help save it in a sense. So you can argue they've nerfed the whole constant pressure. Where there's been some confusion is they increased how long team press can be active from 20 seconds to 45 seconds. Now, some people are thinking this is a nerf, because they're thinking, there's a timer when you press, I think it's up on your D-pad and left, if I'm not mistaken. Up is offside traps are up and left. I don't really use team presses anymore as much, to be honest, if I'm going to be honest with you. But they think it's the timer that resets. Now, they've not mentioned a timer. They've said increase how long team press can be active for from 20 to 45 seconds. So they've indirectly, unless I've got this incorrect here, but I'm pretty sure I got this correct, they've indirectly buffed the normal team press. Now, the normal team press and aggressive, they kind of go hand in hand, but they're not equal. I would say aggressive is kind of over here, and team press is down here. Aggressive is much more effective, whereas team press, I would say, is a bit more effective. I would say team press is kind of in between high and aggressive. The benefit of team press is you could use on any tactic. So what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, you had a 4-2-3-1, and let's say you're playing a very conservative depth. Let's say 45, a bit of a balance, leaning more towards conservative, and you're playing this style, you can press up on the D-pad and then press left, and regardless of your depth at 45, your team will still press. So you can think of it like press on demand, probably the best of explaining it. So they basically increased that from 20 seconds to 45 seconds. So you could argue substitute. So I think it's a good suggestion because we all know constant pressure equivalent of aggressive is too much. It's just way too much. It's too demanding. So it's too demanding on your side. Like, you find an option to pass the ball to. It's not like your opponent had anything to do it. They just basically turned on a switch, like a light switch, and suddenly their team is pressing like there's no tomorrow. So I think that is a good change. What's interesting is they significantly increased how quickly stamina is depleted when using team press. So although they buffed the team press, the duration of it, they basically nerfed the stamina. Now it's up to 2.6 times faster. A bit of an interesting number. Normally it's like a 2 or 3x, but 2.6 times faster. Probably they did some data testing, and they found out at least by 90 minutes, someone with maybe 85, 80 stamina will not be completely dead, but they'll be almost dead, if that makes sense. So they've increased it. So naturally, when you want to use team press, you're forced to use it for a longer period of time unless you turn it off. So I've actually never turned it off, to be honest. But what you could do is you press up on the D-pad, then you press left, it activates. And then when you lose the ball, I think it deactivates normally. But you could technically activate it and then press up and left again to deactivate it. I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever done that. See that? That is my alarm to leave for the Arsenal game. But we'll just finish this video off anyway, since we're midway through. No editing. Go on straight. But anyway, like I was saying, so I think the stamina is going to be a big drain. So people that try to counteract the nerf of 95 depth and try to use the team press all the time, yes, it's for a longer period of time. You don't have to turn it off. But also you're going to be losing stamina much more. So what I would probably say is 70 depth is what I'd probably save most of the time. I would say this is what I'd kind of mainly start the game with. I don't think this is being touched unless anything indirectly. And then let's say for my ultra attacking tactic, let's say for example, my 4-2-4, maybe I wouldn't go to aggressive. Maybe I'll keep this tactic. I'm not going to say I'm going to remove it and chuck it out, but I'm going to keep it. But I'll only use it, let's say, in the last 15, 20 minutes in the game when I really need to go gung-ho, I need to get the win. Let's say, for example, I am losing, and let's say, I don't know, let's say it's 60 minutes or 50 minutes, and my opponent just scored, and I was 1-0 down, and now I'm 2-0 down. I'll be much inclined to go towards something like this with counter and high, and then use the team press button manually to push my team forward to latch onto my opponent and try to be aggressive as possible. At least this way I can use the high depth approach with team press, and I can also mitigate how much stamina I'm losing at the same time. I believe it's probably going to be coming out in a few days, maybe even possible the next one, then maybe next Tuesday. I think it's out for PC already. I'm actually not too sure. This came out today, will be available soon. Okay, so very, very interesting. Anyway, look, that is a very interesting change. I'm actually very much looking forward to this. They should have noticed a long time ago. But I think for those players that maybe if you're sitting here, you're watching this, you're rank 3 to rank 4, and there's players that are, I would say, a lower skill level than you that have been using aggressive depth to kind of catch up, they can't do it as much. I wish there was a slight nerf to high depth as well. That's just me personally speaking, but there isn't. But anyway, guys, I'll let you go with that. I'll do some testing when it officially comes out after a few days. And I'm actually need to go to I'm much on my way to the Arsenal game right now. It's actually 6:20 almost. So I need to go and make moves now to make it before the game. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we win tonight. You can see the vlog on my second channel. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.